3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, here we go. The Lawyer Henderson Show's live. We're checking the connections on Instagram. We're checking your connections here. How's everybody doing? We're coming from the University of Self-Education. No, did I say it right? Nope, the University of Black Power. Sorry. We're basically starting off our sixth season and sixth episode on this particular show with the Lawyer Henderson Show. We're switching up. We're basically switching up. We're making sure that we got some new people coming to basically interview with me on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. So we're getting basically some new interviews here. And I wanted to basically bring certain types of people on to talk about certain issues here that, of course, is facing the Black community. You see, we basically don't want to stay on the same subject matter, have the same people calling in. It's just, it basically, it's no good. So we've been reaching out to people. We want a lot of your, opinions and views and different types of things on our show. We want to be able to get everybody and their opinions into the conversation. Of course, because in the Black community, we're dealing with a lot of issues, man. We're dealing with so much. White people have for years kept us in a segmented labor market. Don't forget the Foolish American Politics books is still on sale at Amazon. If you call in 516-418-5867, you can get a copy just for half of the price of retail, which is only $10. And of course, we are selling our t-shirts. We're going to still try to put them up on my Facebook, YouTube post, the University of Black Power, College of Self-Education. I was wearing this shirt today, and a sister asked me, was that a real college? I said, it is for me, because at the University of Black Power, we educate our people in their history and culture. So, the white educational system, they have destroyed Black folks mentally because they have kept our history and our culture out of the educational system. And so therefore, we're continuing to basically make sure that we educate Black people, by any means necessary. The number to call in is at 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867 if you want to call. But today we're discussing Ice Cube meeting. It's finally going to meet with the Biden administration. Why are Blacks the last in line? And you all on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Like, share, and subscribe, family. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comments. The Lawyer Henderson Show's live. 516-418-5867, the number to call in on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. We're live on Instagram. Don't forget to hit that like button on the video. Don't forget to uh, subscribe, leave a channel, comment down below if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to hit us up on a cash out, $ Lawyer Henderson 40. That is our cash out. Today we're talking about Ice Cube and his contract with Black America. We're basically going to be talking about that today on the Lawyer Henderson podcast radio show. And one of the things that now that there has been a situation where Ice Cube has revealed on the Ryan Cameron show that he will finally get his meeting with Joe Biden, the Biden administration. And we also have reached out to Ice Cube as well to try to bring him on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show to talk more about this meeting. So we're trying to basically try to reach out to his publicist and everybody else to try to see if he can talk with Lawyer Henderson. Now, when you talk to Lawyer Henderson, we basically make sure that this is about Black folks. We understand the power that the white supremacist media try to influence upon these Black celebrities. And it seems right now that Ice Cube is the only Black celebrity that is really trying to help Black people. You know, it was Ice Cube who said, we should keep the momentum. We got the world's attention. We shouldn't basically, fall short and fall victim now that we have a softcore white supremacist in office. You see, Black people are upset because Donald Trump was giving them the reality of how America is and how racist America is. And of course, Black people said, no, they start crying, talking about, we want the softcore white supremacists. We want to be on the Biden plantation instead of being on the Trump plantation. So now we're on the Biden plantation. Now, folks, we have covered, of course, on the Lawyer Henderson show regarding the fact that Jim Crow Joe Biden had met with so-called civil rights leaders. And they had Al Sharpton in the room and all these others. They even had a Black attorney, and she spelled out for Joe Biden, Jim Crow, that he has the executive power to do a lot of things for Black folks before he basically entered his position. And for the last month or so, he's been basically doing things, as we've been mentioning, about for minorities, people of color, white folks, LGBT, and all of these other people, immigrants. See, here's the thing. When Trump was in office, everybody was getting that work. Everybody was looking at how it was like to be a Black person in America. So he was the extreme hardcore white supremacist that the nation basically did not want. And so the white elitists that behind closed doors, along with the Jewish people, they all got behind closed doors and said, no, we got, Black folks are waking up and you got a lot of chaos. You got immigrants upset. You got these people upset. We got people who are not afraid of the police. They're turning over police cars. We got to get this man out of office because he's what? Given a reality to what America is really about. And so Black folks don't want that kind of reality. They wanted some softcore white supremacists. But anyway, we're going to get to that later on in the podcast. I just wanted to basically give you like a taste of what we're going to be talking about later on. Okay? And everybody been saying that, oh, these angry Black men, y'all are everywhere. Y'all angry Black men. Oh, yeah. One of these angry Black men are live on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, 516-418-5867. That's the number to call. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your comments to tell us what you want to see on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Okay. Now, before we get into talking about Ice Cube's potential meeting with the Biden administration, family, we got to go over something very important. You know, you understand? We got to go over something that is basically worthy of a conversation because if you want to know how diabolical the music industry is against black people, specifically against black men, okay, or the entertainment industry or movie industry, like I said before, they already took out Bill Cosby. They already got R. Kelly. We have not seen, for sexual assault, of course, we have not seen, family, we have not seen one white man in the entertainment business go to jail for their sexual accusations. We have not seen Weinstein. He was basically, was arraigned for about 5 seconds, and the man was out of jail. He settled with people. Family, this is what we're talking about. Now, if Weinstein did go to jail, I think some people said that he's in jail now, but if he did go to jail, even then, they only went after one white man in the entertainment business that basically had caused a lot of women, to be victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault in the entertainment business. Now, the Democrats are back in office, and it did not take that long for your shea butter Twitter, your Me Too female flunkies, lesbians, LGBT, and Time's Up, and Tarana Burke, and all these people, all these women who hate black men and their white media counterparts. It did not take them long to go back to business. Now, keep in mind, all of these organizations and these people are only out to get black men. Okay? It is okay for white men to sexually assault black girls. That is not a problem for these people. But when a black man is accused of it, you best believe here come your shea butter Twitter crowd. Family, they got Me Too back in the news now. They got Tarana Burke back in the media after T.I. and his wife Tiny had been accused of sexual assault against this woman, Sabrina Peterson. Now, this woman, Sabrina Peterson, is not born in the United States. You see, when they try to get black folks, they bring these black folks here, coming over to our country, basically to undermine us. And one of the biggest ways that they undermine us and try to get us in trouble is that they basically use the black immigrant, to accuse a black man, a foundational black man specifically, of sexual abuse, sexual assault, rape, something like that. But The Guardian did a great article piece, and basically we're going to talk about that as far as what the story about what T.I. and Tiny has been accused of here by Sabrina Peterson here in a minute. But I wanted to tell you that we knew that this was going to come when the Democrats got back into office. This is one of their only strategies. This is one of their only strategies, okay, that they have when white liberals are in office. This is their biggest strategy to undermine black men as a whole. And that's the reason why you need the black media. See, the black media was the one that forced the meeting with Joe Biden. Jim Crow Joe Biden thought that he was going to basically get away with keeping his promise. And so, therefore, we're demanding a meeting to get our tangibles and to get our reparations. Jim Crow Joe Biden must do what he said that he was going to do if he said that black folks got him in office. But no, like I said, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Not to get off the subject here again, the current subject, because that is the subject of the day. But folks, your Me Too move people is now out of the woodworks. You got, now that, the liberals are back in office, family, they are basically coming out, and now they had to find another black man to accuse of sexual assault. They already got R. Kelly. They already got Bill Cosby. They got Cuba Gooding Jr. on some things. Folks, here we go again. The Guardian, now this is the Fair Use Act. We're basically using our fair use rights here to read the article by theguardian.com. Activists with the Me Too movement, along with Time's Up and the National Women's Law Center, have spoken out in support of black survivors of sexual assault in light of the allegations made against the rapper Clifford T.I. Harris and his wife, the singer Tamika Tiny Harris. The scandal involving the rapper and the former girl group member erupted over several weeks as women reportedly came forward to accuse the power couple of confiscating their cell phones and preventing from leaving as the Harrises sexual assaulted them or other women and forced drug beans. Now, here's the thing about this. Like I said in my last commentary, we hear this all the time, how victims of sexual assault wait so long to report their incidents and they don't even call the police. But the article in The Guardian goes on to write that it has prompted the activists to address the issue as showing how black survivors are often sidelined and their stories ignored in a national Me Too reckoning in America over sexual assault. We know countless of you have come forward with credible accusations of horrific sexual abuse and violence at the hands of black celebrities. The activists and group wrote in the public letter. You see, like you, we are carrying the emotional weight of this news and know that we are relying a collective trauma reliving a collective trauma akin to the exposing of Cosby and R. Kelly. Okay. The letter from the Me Too activists, the NWLC, and Time's Up also chides America Media Organization for failing to specifically cover black survivors of sexual abuse. This tendency to ignore, mock, and challenge and discredit the stories of black survivors is an attempt to coerce us into silence. And this too is an act of violence, it states. It adds the level of violence that has occurred against black survivors for so long, demand stories and headlines that center them across all media. Here they got this white woman out here. Good Lord, so many accusers. Okay, family, the white, lesbian, LGBT, white supremacist media, their white Jewish friends, all of them promotes this attack on black people, but specifically this attack on black men. They couldn't wait to Jim Crow Joe Biden to get back in office so they can flood the black community with this confusion, this division. They could not wait to get his old, decrepit ass back in office. And family, it didn't even take long for your Shea Butter Twitter, LGBT, and all these others to come out and start attacking more black men. It didn't take them long. This is the reason why it's very dangerous of putting Democrats in office. This is the reason why we say that we need our own black independent party, because the Democrats have never been loyal to black people. They have they have basically tried to get black women to think of themselves as independent. You can't even reason with our women now because of this division. You can't even give them advice no more without them turning their lips up to us. And this is the problem that we face now in the black community. And it didn't take long for Jim Crow Joe Biden. Once he got elected, family, they are now out of the woodwork. And white mommy and white daddy is adding them on. They're basically out there. They got all kinds of people who basically they got this woman Jiggles. Victims of T.I. and Tiny are speaking out. Almost all of their stories are identical, and they involve drugs, coercion, and rape. They found a lot of these LGBT black females. They're now out of the woodwork. The article goes on to say, though, that the allegations against the Harrises first arose in January after the stylist Sabrina Peterson, a former friends of couple, posted a shocking claim that the rapper had once pulled a gun in her during a dispute with his wife and another client. End quote. You see, there's this is a problem here. The problem is it is not for the mainstream media to basically dictate who is wrong in these on these issues. That's the reason why you have a police department to investigate accusations of sexual abuse and sexual assault. But to try to get some type of publicity, I told y'all, I think this Sabrina Peterson, she's not even from the United States. She's not a black born person. She's some immigrant. And I told you, you got to watch these immigrants, because not only are they over here to undermine us, they're over here to basically separate us as far as cause this division in the black community. That's the only reason why they are allowed over there. When they basically get that visa, their job specifically is to make sure that they undermine what Tariq Nasheed calls foundational black Americans. But the article goes on to say, though, that Tamika Harris immediately shot back at the allegations, dismissing the beauty brand owner's claim. Peterson has since claimed to have taken a polygraph test to verify her story. At least one woman has engaged the attorney Lisa Bloom. The lawyer confirmed that the woman is willing to speak out against T.I. and Tiny, considered hip hop royalty throughout Atlanta. So far, the alleged victim remains unidentified. Now remember, this is the same thing in the R. Kelly situation. The young girl who accused him of sexual assault, which was basically later identified as Sparkle's niece. They kept her hidden for a very long time, and then they now saying that she's ready to speak out. Ladies and gentlemen, double jeopardy is a bitch. This is double. That was R. Kelly's situation is double jeopardy. Regardless of whether or not he's guilty or innocent, it's double jeopardy, and the man is in jail for nothing. You cannot accuse somebody of something that happened 20 years, and here white men have been basically beating down black women. They have been basically choking them out. The evidence is in your face. And like this dude, this NFL football player, Chad Willer, when he basically beat up his black girlfriend, Aaliyah, and then basically the next thing you know, he was out on $400,000 bond. And neither and no and none of your shea butter Twitter crowd, not your LGBT, not your oh you girl go black girl magic, oh yeah black girl rock, not your shea butter Twitter crowd, not your gay community, not any other these people who go after black men when they're accused of sexual assault. No, we did not get heard anything from Tarana, KRS2 Burke. We did not hear anything from these 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 people until it was an accusation again against another black man. That's when they start rolling out, rolling out. Okay, none of these black women said anything about Chad Whitler. But the article goes on to say though and we stand with her. The music industry is long overdue for reckoning on how women, especially black women, are demeaned and abused, Bloom said in an Instagram post, adding, enough is enough. Peterson has alleged multiple women have reached out to her to share stories of their own encounter with the couple and a host of their celebrity friends, sharing screenshots only. Peterson noted most of the response detail what she called patterns of sexual abuse. You understand? The Harrises released a statement to Complex magazine acknowledging that while their romantic life might be unconventional, they strongly deny any wrongdoing. Okay, I don't understand what is unconventional about having a threesome. It is basically something that some of us, a lot of us do. It's not unconventional to have a threesome. Okay, so but anyway, we live in this society. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's unconventional. You know that you're having two women having sex with two women at the same time. That's unconventional. You know, that's what the white media would basically have you to want you to believe here. Okay, but they also engage in all kinds of sexual deviancy as well. You can't basically ignore that truth. But the article though goes to continue to write that the Harrises released a statement in Complex magazine, acknowledging, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I already read that. But they emphatically denied the strongest. No, what did they say? They said they emphatically deny in the strongest way possible the egregiously appalling allegations being made against them. The statement read. Representative for Couple confirmed to Complex magazine that they have explored legal actions against Peterson and others. Requests for comments to Peterson, Harris, and Bloom have not been returned. You see, and so they couldn't wait for this. You see, it was something about the LGBT community, your Shea Black Brother Twitter crowd, your Me Too movement. It almost seems as though under a conservative politician or a conservative president, that they don't get no attention. So they want these Democrats back in office so they can finally get back at the black man that they hate so much. And so, therefore, this is what we've been talking about in the black media. We've been basically telling you about how these abuse is going on. See, the reason why you don't have black women who are married to black men coming out talking this crap is because the black woman who was married to the men, she understand the attack on her woman. She understand that not only is society, you understand, women who basically who are in these alternative lifestyles. They basically don't see themselves as black. They see themselves as other. They see themselves as LGBT. They see themselves as being a part of somebody else's society. In other words, I am going to be colorblind and basically attack black men, not because they did really anything wrong. In fact, this woman consented to the sex. Keep in mind that most of them who's out here telling their stories have been basically has consented to the sexual relationships. It's just no different than the porn industry. You see in porn, white men do a lot of crazy stuff in porn. They turn these black girls out in porn and then say, okay, go back into the black community, and having them doing all kinds of things that is abusive. And you're like, damn. And then they look at the disrespect and now they want to come back and say, oh, I'm pro-black again. No, stay over there and keep that disease in your community. A black man, we don't want to have no sex with no chick who basically have been just turned out and abused and just gutter out with gutter sex by these white supremacists that they do these pornos with. We basically are in all these sexual assaults. I mean, these are sexual relationships that they have. But the white media, though, basically wants to basically flag us for speaking that truth. The white media basically wants to censor us in the black community in our podcasts on YouTube and other channels, because what's going on is that we're out here now challenging them. You see, it used to be a time that when we didn't have the platforms, that we had relied up on the old dead black media who tried to entertain us and acting foolish, like your Tom Joyners, and now you got Roly Poly Martin, who's been selling an old dead black agenda for years, who's not even a foundational black American. We had all of these people trying to then sell us entertainment without speaking the truth of our problems and issues in the black community, the problems and the crisis of how a black man and a black woman basically are having problems under white supremacy, how our women basically do not believe that they need us under global white supremacy. This is the type of issues that we have been going through in the black community, how they believe that they're equal to us. And we have all kinds of people on YouTube platforms that basically try to tell women, no, you're not equal to a man. A man's body structure can do a lot of things that women cannot do. And so therefore they just basically do not want to listen to that truth. So you have your white LGBT, you have your white supremacist media, you have the white Jewish people, they got their hands into it, and they're trying to basically separate us, exactly what they did in the 1960s. That's the reason why they couldn't wait for Jim Crow Joe Biden to get back in office. They looked at Trump and said that he's really hardcore. He's telling us, wait a minute, there's nobody on the team white supremacy, not even the buffer class of the Asians, not even the Hispanics. Nobody is on team white supremacy. See, that's what Trump was basically telling the rest of the world. And so they were like, man, crying all day. White daddy don't want us to be in the buffer class. And I see what these black folks been talking about when it comes to racism. We got to get Trump out of office. And white daddy, go ahead and let there be a Joe Biden plantation. We looked at that. And now you got the Jim Crow Joe Biden in office. Mind you, that there is record of Jim Crow Joe Biden doing things that was he had a long history of 48 years on record of what he did to black people. Him and his vice president, Kamala Harris. So that is the story. Now let's get into the topic of today. Okay? The topic of today is that Ice Cube is now has revealed and has told us that he basically is going to have a meeting with Jim Crow, Joe Biden, and the Biden administration. Said that the administration had reached out to him. Okay. Now, the Democrats that came to basically try to do this because they knew that when Trump was in office, black men liked the ideal that Trump reached out to Ice Cube to talk about his contract with Black America. And here's CNN. Oh, you niggers, y'all don't know what leadership is about. We need to wait until we basically, as the Democrats, get in office because you niggers, y'all been voting for us for 50 or 60 plus years. You know, how dare you go and listen and talk to a Republican, uh, president without our permission? See, this is what CNN and the rest of your bought and paid for media like to tell us. They like to handpick our leaders for us, like they trot out John Lewis. I shed blood in Selma, and so that's what they do. And so Ice Cube back in October of last year was speaking with Chris Cuomo. And as you know, these people on CNN, they basically got in their minds that no, we're the ones who basically will tell black people who their leaders are going to be and who they speak with. You understand? We're going to be the ones who said that's going to be doing that. And so, therefore, while black men basically was going towards Trump in his presidential reelection campaign, because he was doing certain things, like he did, and there were some things, of course, that I disagree with what he was doing as well, and it's okay for people to talk about that. I have no problem with you criticizing what he was doing to black people. But I also want to focus, though, on the things that he did prior to being uh, after he left office. Okay, I know our sister had pointed out in the other black media that he had basically shipped back some immigrants, black immigrants. Okay, and that's duly noted. Okay, we think that basically if black people who are coming over here to the country, if they're coming over here to do us some good, I welcome them. But if they're coming over here to do what this Sabrina Peterson is doing, or all these other black immigrants are doing, then we caution them coming into this country. And this is what Jim Crow Joe Biden is doing. He has undermined us. In fact, if it's true that if the Biden administration have reached out to Ice Cube, that's fine. But the fact is that who is going to be there with Ice Cube to speak on the contract of Black America? And of course, our show laid out, if you go back and look at the commentary, we went through Ice Cube's plan. And it was the black media that he sat down with, along with Tone Talks and others, that in that plan, we don't want you to mention minorities, people of color, diverse neighborhoods, distressed neighborhoods, sounding like Bernie Sanders and the liberal Democrats and all they've been saying. Because as Dr. Claude Anderson pointed out, we're a special people. We are black natives. Unlike any other African group or any group here in the United States, black people he has a long history. Okay. And so therefore, before Ice Cube go, we're going to try to reach out to his publicist. We're going to try to talk with Cube on to making sure as that he has the qualified expert in the room talking, because the sham that they did on Capitol Hill with Sheila Jackson Lee, who is a descendant of Jamaica. See, we don't need those people in talking to for foundational Black Americans. As Dr. Claude Anderson pointed out, we are a special people. In other words, we basically went through and survived the biggest Holocaust that the world has ever known. These white supremacists know that we have a long record of showing them the truth as to why we deserve reparation. So, in that meeting that Ice Cube may have or may not have with the Jim Crow Joe Biden administration, there needs to be experts like Dr. Claude Anderson, Professor Overtree, other people. Basically, I think Professor Overtree had taken the government to court on reparations. Remember, if you go look at my commentary on the banks that owed me, I mean, that owes not me, but owed us, um, money because of their slave trade. Remember Wachovia, before it became Wells Fargo, its CEO back in 2005 basically apologized for Wachovia's involvement in the slave trade. And now you got a lot of Black people flooding their bank accounts with Wells Fargo, in which Wachovia later became Wells Fargo. But before that, Wachovia Bank and Wells Screw basically screwed Black folks out of our money. And basically, remember when I told you about that these four banks, Bank of America was one of them, Chase, JP Morgan, Citi, and Wells Fargo Wachovia. I'll just call them both of those names so y'all can know who we're talking about. But these four banks during slavery basically benefited from slavery and benefited from the slave trade. And I told you how Wells Screw was the most vicious one, along with Bank of America, because they told the slave that, yeah, we're going to give you land, we'll give you property. But nigger, if you default, not only are we taking the land from you, you are going to become a slave on that property until the debt is paid off. You see, that's the reason why basically I had the commentary on the four banks that robbed us during slavery. You understand? And we don't need no immigrants. Like I have an immigrant, immigrant who calls me all the time, and he said, well, slavery was legal back then. And who's going to pay the debt? Just because slavery was legal does not make it right. You understand? But Ice Cube contract with Black America, remember, he had went on CNN, he had talked with Tone Talks, he had talked to other Black people in the community. He had also talked with the Fox Soul host Claudia Jordan and Lisa Ray and all these other women, basically who the white media basically gave this TV show, who basically tried that division situation as well. We as Black women, we got special needs. Okay, well, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, if you're getting money, you know, you can do whatever you want and take care of those special needs. What is specifically that your needs is different than you being a part of the Black community? See, that's that division that they try to cause. That's that separation that they want to try to say that Black men and Black women is a separate entity. But I commend Ice Cube basically for holding his own. Even when when what's this comedian name? DL Hughley, DL Foley, when he went after Ice Cube, that things really got heated up. Because see, I thought DL Hughley and Conley was going to basically support our brother. See, I thought DL Hughley was going to basically say kudos to about the situation. But no, DL Hughley was one of the first Black male celebrities come out against Ice Cube in his contract with Black America, just because that at that time that he planned it, the Trump administration reached out to him and revised their plan for their reelection campaign with the Platinum Plan. They took a lot of out in the Platinum Plan. But let me just tell you, the first thing we do is we talked about getting rid of this minority stuff. We talked about getting rid of this LGBT and everybody coming on board, getting in the new voices of black media and the grassroots. We've been the one addressing these issues ongoing. And so therefore, you had D.L. Conley out there talking about, oh, it's just that they happen just to basically the Trump administration just so happens to basically meet with the guy who wrote Friday. You see, D.L. Conley don't understand that Ice Cube has been basically have backup from the grassroots. But D.L. Foley doesn't understand that Ice Cube basically was a member of NWA and the one who said F the police. It was Ice Cube that has brought us the celebrity influence that we need. Now, I have no problem with them attacking his songs, his hip hop songs. You can attack that all you want. I have no problem with you basically talking about that. But the point is that his meeting now is supposedly happening with Jim Crow Joe Biden. And we have already known how Jim Crow Joe Biden was talking or how he talked, because remember, we played the audio of him talking just basically like talking to his civil rights hoes just like they were children. Let me be clear, is what he said. I have done more when I was in the Senate and a politician for 48 years, more than I have a history of getting things done, but more than anybody you know, is what he said to that effect. Well, hell, no damn duh, Jim Crow Joe Biden. You have basically locked up every black person that you can with your 3 strikes in your jail. Yeah, working with known segregationists. Oh, yeah, we know your history, Jim Crow. And look at the tone of voice that he was talking to his civil rights retreads with. He basically told them, you all got to start working with the Hispanics. No, we're not building no coalition with nobody. We are old evidence of slavery, Jim Crowism, all kinds of police brutality, what happened to us, our businesses during Reconstruction, constantly police killings and murders of black people, and the list goes on and on and on by a corrupt government who continues to undermine us by bringing minorities over here and talking about people of color. Jim Crow Joe Biden also told us that within his 100 days in office, that without helping black folks. You understand? And that's the reason then why we are basically ready to face Jim Crow Joe Biden. And they're basically scared because they know that if the grassroots is behind Ice Cube, that hell, we might show up in that meeting. We showed up on Capitol Hill when they did that fraud on Capitol Hill. We showed up then. But see, they didn't allow us in the chambers, of course. They didn't allow us in with the conversation. But Ice Cube contract with Black America has been criticized by other celebrities and other people in your, who came from, your black immigrants. They basically, the white media, the white people, they like to basically bring people who like to undermine black people who are native blacks. Now, here's the thing. Back in November of the 5th, 2020, you had this immigrant black chick by the name of Candace Marie Benbow or whatever. I'm hoping I say this heifer's name right. She called herself an essayist, screenwriter, theologian, twerker, baker, creative. So she's a professional twerker. She was one of the first one to call out Ice Cube, saying, and quote, and I quote, that the devil made a plumb fool out of Ice Cube and he's mad at us about it. And LOL, laugh out loud. Now, this damn fool and idiot. See, you always get these. What is it? How can you put religion and twerking together anyway? This is the only way you can do it. This is the only society who basically will allow those two things to happen, you know, at the same time. And she's an essayist, screenwriter, theologian, and twerker, baker, creative. The old Okay, so basically she teaches theology, but at the same time she's twerking everywhere. You see, this is what they like in our community. Remember that black chick, those black people, black females who were basically the hood rats who was twerking in that black man's restaurant in, was it Houston or Dallas? You see, this is what they like, and here come TMZ talking about, well, what was the problem with that? Is this attack on black women? No, it was not an attack on black women. It was attack on the hood rats who wants to show their ass in a black person establishment. They will not have done that in a white person establishment because they know that the white supremacists will not go for that foolishness. But this Candice Marie Benbow character, she basically been trying to get attention. Now, give and take, this woman have a good, she has a beautiful body, and I was basically wondering why this woman have to get this attention. Why does she need it? This attention. Why did this Candice Marie Benbow? I don't know if she's basically from black. She's a native black. I don't know. 9 times out of 10, she's not. But who basically listened to a woman that basically teaches theology and then turn around and say that I'm a professional twerker? Who does that? This woman, let me show y'all on Instagram how this woman look with the big ass teeth of hers. Yeah, you see that? But I know you can't see on YouTube. Oh yeah, so this woman, go to CandiceBenbow.com to see who this woman is. But this woman is trying to promote herself very well. She's trying to get attention. Now, she's very thick. I know guys look at her body all the time. Now, but her Facebook says, I'm so glad you're here, rather through reflection on faith and culture, sharing baking receipts or my latest beauty finds. I pray this sanctuary where we can journey towards healing and wholeness together. Like many of you, my life have taken more than a few interesting twists and turns. There have been so amazing highs and devastating lows. What kept me through all of it is the belief that the worst things do not have the final say. We are all meant to strive beyond the grief, trauma, and pain. May this space push us closer to the beautiful life. See, this woman basically was letting you know I need attention. Anytime that you talk about theology and twerking in the same sentence, you got a problem. Now, she was hanging out with another woman called Rachel Garner. I think she basically, I don't know who that is. And guess who was on her Twitter feed? none other than Ava DuVernay. And so that told it all. You understand? That told it all. When she had that woman on her um, Instagram page, no, I'm sorry, her Twitter page, that told me how she thinks. No, but back to Ice Cube's contract with Black America. We Biden administration on his 100 days of ignoring Black people. Now, of course, it have not been 100 days yet. It's almost there. But family, look at look at what the backlash was when Ice Cube did meet with Trump. And the ideal here is that, see, we didn't have karma. But like I said, these white liberals and the white media, they like to basically make it as, no, nigga, we basically tell you who your leaders are. We tell you who you can basically support or talk to or who you time. That we're basically have to basically, agree with what y'all want us to agree with. Why is CNN thinking and Don Lemonade over there? Why is they all, they have their little gate and enterprise over there among each other. I don't have no problem with that, but they speak for us. Why is this happening still? After George Floyd's death, they should have known that we have a new media. We have the black grassroots. Now, a white woman said something very interesting to that CNN host during the Capitol riot. She got advice from CNN, and she told them, like I said before, she said, "Listen, nobody listens to your mainstream white media no more. Period. And you know why? Turning over police cars, y'all burn down police stations. So this is our justification. This is what they're using in court. This is our justification, or going to use in court, rather. This is our justification of taking on the Capitol, as Dr. Claude Anderson pointed out. No, we had a specific reason. A black man has got shot and killed. A black woman got shot and killed by police. We took that to the streets. That was basically for a real reason. The white supremacists, y'all have no reason to go and do anything that y'all did at the Capitol. Y'all had no real reason but the fact to basically get upset because Donald Trump won lost the White House. And basically, of course, like I told you, I agree that he did not really lose. I went with the white supremacists on that. Okay. But at the same time, to show you how y'all just act a fool and then try to say, well, since you niggers, y'all went out there and did it, we should be able to basically really delegate some type of violence against politicians. We'll show you really how to do it. And so they went and took over the Capitol building and stuff. No, it wasn't the same grievance, ladies and gentlemen, as Yvette Cornell pointed out. Because it is basically that this. I want to go back to the subject matter at hand. Ice Cube will be meeting with President Biden to discuss contract with Black America. Okay. It says that O'Shea Jackson will finally get the contract with Black America looked at by the current president. NWA founder and Hollywood heavyweight Ice Cube stated in a recent radio interview that he should be meeting with President Joe Biden soon to have the discussion regarding his contract with Black America. Ice Cube discussed the situation with Magic 107.5's Ryan Cameron. As NMA reported, Cube said yesterday they reached out. I believe it will go down available. I know this new administration is really into helping all minorities, but I believe Black people in this country are in a unique position. Now, why did he say a unique position? Because as Dr. Claude Anderson had pointed out to us, we are a special people. We are the only Black people who have basically survived all kinds of torture, slavery, murders, killing, rape, unlike any other race in this country. When other people say, well, when we all contribute and to a situation, they have not contributed. They have not contributed a damn thing. As Dr. Clark pointed out, it is that black people in America basically have been subjected to all kind of racism and violence against this white supremacist system. There has been laws specifically designed to basically cut us away from the economic system. That's the reason why you have white people at $100 trillion. Basically, country are with white folks. And we only make up about 1.5 or 1% of the world's economic system. You cannot be serious. The article by specialty programs, you know me, I'm about reparations. It seems like bad word to this administration, but we got to really push the matter. And everybody is basically calling the man out on it. You see, they don't want black people to have anything. They're trying to undermine us. That's the reason why Jim Crow Joe Biden, he basically is giving amnesty to a lot of these illegal immigrants. He's basically trying to undermine native blacks. Home the fact that Jim Crow Joe Biden it's going to be down, down, down. Of course, the white supremacists, they always see that. That's what they did when I went on to a court case, up the facts. They want to end the conversation discussion because they know that you're drilling home the facts. They don't like to basically, and then they always bring your black people in there to help them out and to basically side with them. You know, they always get their bought and paid for Negroes. That's what happened to me in my court case in Henderson versus U.S. Securities. They had this black woman, you know, representing her client. I have no problem with that. But the ideal, though, is that you know that you have a woman who tried so hard to basically say to you as another black person, listen, white daddy has taken care of me, white mommy has taken care of me, and there's no damn way I'm going to betray them. It's just like that slave who said, well, why are we going good? Why are y'all talking about a slave rebellion? You know, it's the same to my Facebook commentary. I did a whole story and commentary on the black people in that works in these companies. Remember, it was me who told you that every right to have their black family, because the black family basically will turn the back on the black proudest organization to racially discriminate against us. Let's take this to the EEOC. And then you always get the black family. No, I don't want to lose my job now. Oh, I can't do that now. No, y'all. See, you can take them down there to the EOC. You see me, I can't do that. I love my job. You know, I love the job that white daddy, white mom give me. No, meeting with Ryan Cameron was about the contract with Black America and their specific things. And Ice Cube had promoted his contract with Black America since last summer. And it quote by saying, instead of looking for incremental reform, the contract with Black America tries to address the root causes of racism in our society, and develop a roadmap for a comprehensive solution. Beyond the obvious, we need to focus on areas of banking and finance, justice, policy as the system of race or reparations. None of these work in isolation. This plan look at the systematic core of racism as a whole, and only in the way can a true solution be born. Okay, that's what Ice Cube said in so many words. But I'm worried about the person who is going to be in the meeting with the Cube. Now, I understand that he's been counseled by Dr. Claude Anderson and others, and that's good because Dr. Claude Anderson for years have been telling us that we are native blacks. We have a specific history that has been happening to me, have been going through. Now we can basically say that change our name here and there, but we have to move away from this African American type thing. We have to get rid of that analogy. I think that if we call ourselves Native Blacks instead of Black Americans or African Americans, I think we can basically hit it home. Dr. Claude Anderson said in so many that no other people who have owed something from this country had. They had a plan of the reservations, where, like I said, now they're only half of Oklahoma as far as those reservations is concerned. And Dr. Claude Anderson says that he liked the ideal of the Native Americans. And basically, that's the reason why the concept of Native Blacks is better than African American, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, ADOS, or any other type of name you want to call ourselves. I think Black Americans hit home. Now, not to say all these other names are bad ideas, but in a system of oppression, you basically have to identify yourself because the white supremacists, they like to play games with you. They like to play games with words, and they do that basically very fundamentally great in the society. That's what they've been doing to the slavery. Then when we had Jim Crow and the civil rights generation, the civil rights generation have been manipulated so much by the white supremacists that it was just basically time for them to just shut the hell up. In fact, the NAACP and others are losing their members because of that fact, because of that truth. They've been losing their members because there's no effective coalition coming from the how you call it, NAACP, or the Urban League, or Al Sharpton's National Action Network, Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition. None of these organizations, the People Agenda, none of these civil rights organizations help Black people. Those organizations are to undermine us. And so when we have a contract with Black America, that contract is specifically about what we experience as Native Blacks in this country. Meeting with Ice Cube, of course, will get us into the door, but we have to also make sure that Ice Cube is sitting with those experts that are basically could tell the white supremacists, because they will play games words with you. They're going to say, oh, well, what about other people who have basically came over to this country and basically contribute? No, nigga, we're not talking about other people who have abandoned their own economies and their shithole countries to come over here and feed off of us. We're not going there. We're talking specifically about Black people. Hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe, family. You're listening to the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Like I said, we're going to be basically bringing more content. We're going to come on this, with people that really going to be talking about the issues. We understand that we're in a system of white supremacy, but the ideal is that we still have to talk about the issues. Okay, you just can't just be out there talking about, well, we're on a system of white supremacy, on a system of white supremacy, on a system of white supremacy. Millie Fuller does a great job in talking about the system of white supremacy. He does a great job in talking about how the white supremacists act and how they like to control both sides of an argument. He explains that very well. But in a system of white supremacy, you just basically, even though that you understand it, you just don't just keep on just shoving it down the mouths of people. You got to also be able to say, well, what is the system of white supremacy up to now? Because we as a people basically is trying to look for power and justice and economics, because the system of white supremacy has not ended. So we have to meet the system for where it is now. So our brother, meeting with the Biden administration or any other administration means that we have to basically go into the conversation as to land out for the white supremacists that we are not going to basically be agreeing to no coalition with any other people. We are basically not even wanting a coalition at this point with even the Black natives. Black immigrants who have basically came over to this country to try to undermine us as well. If these people are coming to undermine us, then what we have to make sure, though, is that the system of oppression is basically jotting down what what we're arguing. And basically our argument, the white supremacists know that our argument is legit. You see, they're not even enforcing the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Okay, all the laws that was basically put on the books for black folks in the 1800s, the civil rights legislations of the 1860s and 70s, they're not even enforcing those laws. And then you had the civil rights generation come along 100 years later, after we've been discriminated against and dogs have been sicked up on us and dealing with all kinds of racial injustice. The civil rights generation basically was created to play games with the white supremacists. We cannot play those games no more. We're dealing with a shortage, a shortfall in the black community, where by 2053, Black enterprise, who now finally is trying to get their act together, has revealed that our wealth will be basically eradicated if we don't talk about the current economic situation in the Black community. That's the reason why it was the grassroots, of course, who basically is educating our people. We're leading the charge against this economic, plight for Black people. The contract with Black America just get us into the door. And we commend our brother Ice Cube, who's told us that we have to stay with the program. We got the world's attention here. We got to continue to let them know. So while the world was listening, here come the white elitists saying, well, we're going to have to put a less um, white, a soft-core white supremacist in office so that we can let the world know that we're not discriminating against these niggers here in America. We're going to let them know that we love everybody. And what Trump is saying to you and the world, no, 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 no. That's not how America is. We're not a violent nation. That's what they're trying to basically teach and educate. But yeah, you are a violent country. The history that America has shown throughout years made it a violent country where the white supremacists have basically been getting their way. They've been shooting and killing Black people with impunity, unarmed Black people, lying, talking about they see a gun, and they have been killing us nonstop. And the police corruption that goes along with that, and not to mention the Black people who they're killing for their organs. A lot of Black people have been snatched up by police officers and government officials and former police officers for specifically to sell organs in the underground market. We have to be able to speak truth to power. You see, it's not enough to just say that white supremacy exists. You have to basically be able to unpack the truth so the white supremacists to understand that we're not taking it no more. To let the white supremacists know that if you think that we basically turned over police cars before, well, you ain't seen a damn thing yet. You see, but we don't basically go out there and just indiscriminately just talk and basically run our mouth indiscriminately and go do stuff foolishly. That's how you get shot. That's crazy. You got some Black folks, well, let's go down there and just do everything this and do it this way. No, that's not how it works. You got to be strategic in your planning, in your plotting. That's how the white supremacists are. They're strategic in their planning. Some fool talking about, oh, you ain't hard. Look at the white supremacists talking crap to you. Okay, let them talk crap to us. You see, that's what in the book that The Art of War, it built a foundation up on how you strategize and how you defeat your opponent. And using that strategy in the book basically defines the truth as about just going out doing things aggressive. Like people called up Dr. Umar Johnson and say, okay, well, let's just go down there and shoot up the courthouse and all that stuff. That's dumb. That's foolish. Okay, the white supremacists are still in control. You don't want to do stupid stuff like that. That's crazy. Okay, because you got a lot of black folks that is what? On the white supremacist side. They're going to be the first one to say, I heard that you're trying to, to fight massa. Well, put your hands behind your back, nigga. You see, you got other black people helping the white supremacists. You understand? So that's the reason why it's dumb to go down there and just do stupid stuff. You got to think, okay? You got to basically have a mind of intellectual ability to strategize and not just say stupid stuff out the wall, getting angry, getting emotional. Okay, when you talk to a lot of women, they get emotional based upon the fact that they don't understand that everything is strategic. Men, we tend to understand that we basically don't show emotions and use emotions to basically try to then influence a person. That's what women do. Men are basically strategic thinkers. You know, as our brother who, one of our rappers has said, real bosses, we just sit back and listen. Okay, one of our rappers said that. Real bosses just sit back and listen. You know, we don't basically just talk and 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 talk, and there's no action. See, those are the people you got to get rid of because it's all about just talking. They're not doing anything. They're not basically contributing to black empowerment. They're not doing nothing. They're just talking. Okay? And so therefore, you can criticize me and other people for going out there in the streets with the youngsters last year after George Floyd was deceased and say, "Oh, well, all y'all did is went out there and make noise." That's okay. That's okay. What's the point? We were out there putting our life on the line while you all was behind closed doors, hiding from white daddy, white mommy, being revolutionaries in front of your computers. Okay, we told the white supremacists that we are basically upset with what they're doing. And the white supremacists will say, well, we understand that y'all are upset with the police. We're only here because we were ordered by the governor and by the president to be here. You see, it was about to be some real things. And the white supremacists understand that if they have a hardcore white supremacist in office who basically is real hardcore, then they basically cannot show black people how racism is. So you need a quiet white supremacist. The problem with that though is that you pick the white supremacists that we know the history of. So you're not giving us a better selection at all. You're not dealing with our see, black people are so confused that they think that words are more problematic than the actions of the white supremacists. Okay, we see actions from Joe Biden doing things to black people. We only heard Trump talk like a white supremacist. You understand? And that's the reason why our sister Vicky Dillard, she is very good. She is very good of getting the information out to us. That's the reason why all of these black YouTube platforms, we're under a shadow ban now because the white supremacist media, they're so upset with YouTube for giving us this platform that they have now came with their biased media propaganda. And they said instead of these niggers listening to, this lawyer Henderson YouTube channel or listen to Professor Black Truth or listening to Tariq Nasheed and others in the black community, y'all need to be listening to the white media because we're going to tell you what's good for you. Oh yeah, like y'all been telling us what's good for us since y'all been killing us ever since slavery, right? Yeah. But Ice Cube meeting with the Biden administration. Why is black people the last in line when we are the ones who built this country? That's a very important question. that you got to then ask the white supremacists as soon as they step in the door with you, or you step in the door with them. See, Jim Crow Joe Biden knows that he has on paper evidence of what he done to us, what he done to specifically to black men, and the signing of Bill Clinton, putting this three strikes and you're out upon black men. This was deliberate. And so therefore, there was black people criticizing Trump, but black people were these black civil rights leaders and these bought and paid for Negroes who come on to MSNBC. Al Sharpton, he's not talking about nothing about discrimination no more. He's constantly talking about this politics and the president this, that president that. That's what they got him doing now on script because he had sold out to Comcast. You see, and that's what Messy Jesse Jackson and all of them selling out to the white supremacists. So when we go into the meeting with Ice Cube, he has to be there with Dr. Claude Anderson. He has to be there with people like myself, Tone Talks, and other people, so that we can lay down the rules right there. First, Jim Crow Joe Biden is what we're going to say, is that we're not fit to allow you to disrespect us and talk to us crazy. That's number one. Number two, we know that the system of oppression owed black people all kinds of reparations. We have black people, black families struggling in this country because of what they're going through. I mean, because of not getting our share due. The $1.3 trillion versus $100 trillion that y'all got as as white folks, means then that you all know that you owe us reparations. We don't owe these other people, other immigrants, nothing. These people who have abandoned their own economies, they don't get no legitimacy over native blacks at all. And so therefore, we in the black community, we have all kinds of problems because we keep on calling ourselves certain types of things. And we keep on calling ourselves, minorities and African Americans, and talking about Black Americans and Black this and African American that. The question is that we are Native Blacks. Native Blacks. We cannot use even religious names to redefine ourselves. Call us Native Blacks and just go from there. We can basically, certain types of names just doesn't fit the argument. That's all. It's no problem with calling yourself Foundational Black American or ADOS or any other type of name. That's not the point. The point is that we all need to be Native Blacks. And then when we get the money, we can go back being whatever we want to. But we have to come together. And that's what they know about black people. Black folks do not like to agree on things, especially when it comes to religion. It comes to certain types of things that just eat us alive when we're calling ourselves other than what the white supremacists want us to call ourselves. And that's the problem. So I'm going to be basically trying to get Ice Cube on the Lawyer Henderson show, and wish me luck because I want to talk with him about his contract with Black America. Remember, it was us on the Lawyer Henderson show who was first going into detail about his contract. And that's when he met with Tone Talks to say that, listen, we can't talk about this minority stuff. That's out the way. That's out the question. We got to talk about Native Blacks. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do so. Lawyer Henderson TV on YouTube. We're basically growing. Our subscribers are growing, even though YouTube have us on a shallow end. We're still in the business.